I think as most of you know, this morning we relieved Paul Westphal of his duties as head coach. I just want to say, before we get into this too much, how much I really enjoyed working with Paul. Great person, very good to work with. But we're in a situation here where you can't take a philosophical vacation because things are happening in real time. And as we look at where we were, even talking it through with Paul, we just thought it was time to make a change. And in the period following that, we met with Keith Smart. We've been impressed by him since he arrived here as an assistant to Paul. And tonight I'm proud to announce that he's going to be the head coach for the Kings going forward this season. I think he's got a new perspective on things, some new ideas. Did a terrific job at Golden State, I thought, last year as the head coach, and was a long-time assistant there and worked with a lot of young players. He's very instrumental in their development, and he's excited about the challenge. And it's a real undertaking. Obviously, when you think about the compressed season and the lack of practice time, and all the things that go into affecting change, but he's committed to doing it, and putting his ideas in place, and we're looking forward to working with him.
Geoff, did you and the Maloofs know that Paul was going to issue that statement regarding Marcus Cousins?
Yes, I did.
The Maloofs as well?
They may not have as quickly as I did, but I did.
Did Coach Westphal's relationship with DeMarcus Cousins play any role at all in the decision today?
Well, I think there's going to be the temptation here, obviously, to lay a lot of this at the doorstep of DeMarcus Cousins, but that's really, I think, unfair to DeMarcus. A lot of this goes to the greater area, the way the team's playing, and the performance levels of a lot of the players on the team beyond DeMarcus. I think we've met with DeMarcus and talked through, what the current issues were, and as far as we're concerned, we moved on from that one. But it's about the whole overall level of performance of the team as a whole, not about any one particular player.
How much responsibility?
At any point, when Keith Smart was hired as an assistant, was he kind of like hired just in case something like this would happen, based on his head coaching?
No, because first of all, if you would have told me 2 weeks ago that I'd be standing up here today addressing everyone about this, it certainly wasn't on anybody's radar, okay, including mine. I thought we were very fortunate, as did Paul, to be able to hire Keith at the time as an assistant, and given his history and being a real class fellow himself. And, so
Would you have,
it was about the quality of the person at the time.
how much responsibility do you take with Westphal's performance? And I guess the performance of the last number of coaches over the last 6 years.
Well, I have to take a lot of it in the sense that we've continued to make changes. There's only 4 players on the team from 2 years ago. 2 of them really haven't played. There's some pretty severe operating restrictions during that period. But we do feel that this team, and I think most people would agree, is a more talented team than the team that was here 2 years ago. If there's anyone that disputes that, that's up to them.
Do you consider
the object is, obviously to try and get better. We've been rebuilding with young players. This is the first year in 3 or 4 years we spent any money in free agency. So there's a lot of factors in it, but you know, we're still going to try and move forward.
Geoff,
Yeah,
what-
you said you had known, you knew that Coach Westphal was gonna release that statement on Sunday. Did you agree? Do you share his opinion on that? And can you elaborate on your feelings on that?
Really, this is about Keith Smart and the hiring of him. I think that event is past. And, you know, it is what it is.
Would you have been able to make this move if you didn't have a guy like Keith Smart already in-house?
Well, I think when you have to make a move, like I said, things happen in real time. I mean, I think we were fortunate that we do have Keith on the staff, but and he was a logical successor, I think, given his history and experience we've had with him to this point. And,
Geoff, what did you identify as most alarming?
Did you decide that the move had to be made, and how much input did you get from ownership in making the decision now?
Well, I talked with Joe and Gavin and Mike yesterday, and, you know, it was really my recommendation to them during the day yesterday that it was probably necessary that we make a change.
You said you talked to Paul, almost like he agreed with the decision, he understood why you were making the decision?
Well, you know, we talked about, you know, with the way the team played and where we were, and, you know, so there's no hard feelings. I think we have mutual respect for each other, and we both understand how these things happen sometimes.
Geoff, what would you characterize was most alarming at the team's play to start this season?
Well, we just need a higher level of effort and cohesion and execution. You know, we haven't really effectively moved the ball for the last 3 or 4 years. We've been in the bottom 3 or 4, and it's just a turnover by teams. But
Is there additional pressure to win right now because of the arena talk?
I think that's a separate issue, totally. There's always pressure to improve or get better. Doesn't matter whether you win 25 games, 40 games, or 50 games. Doesn't change.
What can be salvaged this season? What can be salvaged this season? What's the expectations now?
What are the expectations?
Geoff, you had mentioned earlier that it was philosophical vacation. What did you mean by that?
Well, it means that, you know, when things are happening, that you keep saying the same things over and over again. You can't sit around and meditate forever about how you're going to approach them or try and change it.
What did you think about his relationship with Cousins? How much of a factor that playing in the discussions or the decision?
I think I already answered that.
What did you think about his
Do you think
relationship?
overall, Paul still
Last
had
question.
the ear of these guys? I mean,
What's that?
Did Paul, did he still have their ear in the locker room?
Yeah, I didn't go around and take a poll and ask them, so, I mean,
Did you have a sense? I mean, I know it's
I
cliche.
think they
to say-
like Paul. I mean, I think he was a very open and fairly straightforward person. I mean, but you know, at some point it has to translate onto the floor, you know, at a better rate or an improving rate or whatever. I think, in all honesty, we could both agree and see that just wasn't happening.
Geoff, what would you say to Kings fans after starting the season at such a high note and now this low point? What would you say to them?
We're doing everything we can to get better.
Geoff, was there any
Thank
thought,
you.
before you decided on Keith, to take a few days and look around and see, or was it because of the compressed season that was the logical move? It was, you just think he's the best guy for the job?
I think he's the best guy for the job right now.